Asthma remains a worldwide disease that burdens the lives of many patients. A total of 300 million people worldwide suffer from asthma. This is still a poorly understood disease.
At present, patients with severe asthma are not very much helped with the medications available. They're still in trouble with the disease, which is a big burden for many patients in Europe.
Living with severe asthma means that there are limitations, but you keep the rules. You monitor your condition on a regular basis using a peak flow meter. You take regular medication, and you must particularly pay attention to your preventer medication that you take even when you're well. You have to avoid situations that would trigger your asthma. For example, in my case, cigarette smoke, certain chemicals, various other pollutants of that nature would bring on an immediate asthma attack. It's extremely frightening. You feel as if you're breathing through a straw instead of through a hose pipe, which is how a person without asthma breathes. You feel as if you are going to die.
Currently, doctors and scientists treat all the patients with asthma the same. But are they?
Patients are not alike, and we are trying to make a map of severe asthma, which then, by making a map and a so-called profile, gets patients into categories that are probably very much held by a particular medicine, whereas others are benefited much more with another medical approach.
When developing new drugs, there are several challenges. Not only does it take large amounts of money and time, but despite these efforts, only 6% of new drugs finally reach the market. This failure is often caused by the same obstacles or bottlenecks. One of the biggest bottlenecks is that patients cannot be distinguished from each other. At present, tests indicate that asthma can be separated into 4 groups, one of which is severe asthma. But what if asthma and severe asthma are not just one disease? What would happen if we diagnosed all patients with chest pain as having pneumonia? Would antibiotics work for those with a heart attack? If you were to develop a drug to treat patients with chest pain, antibiotics, and you gave it to a group of 20 patients with chest pain, 10 of which actually had a heart attack and 10 of which had pneumonia, those with a heart attack die, while the other 10 get better. You might conclude that antibiotics don't work, when in fact for the 10 with pneumonia, they were the correct treatment. In a similar fashion, when we treat all patients with asthma the same, new drugs may not look effective. This is seen as the major bottleneck in drug development in severe asthma. However, several very different partners are coming together to address this issue. The Innovative Medicines Initiative, or IMI, is a unique pan-European collaboration between the public and private sector. It is funded by the European Commission and the biopharmaceutical industry. In this project, biopharmaceutical and healthcare companies, regulators, academia and patients all work together and try to achieve the same goal: a faster discovery and development of better medicine.
The IMI is unique. Perhaps not worldwide, because there are similar sort of activities, research activities, but not so obviously linking academe with the industry. And I think that initial sort of connection provides an extraordinary opportunity for collaboration.
Collaborazione.
Samenwerking. Collaborare.
Collaboration.
Samarbete.
Együttműködés.
التعامل.
Collaboration at a non-competitive level, but also to encourage both sides, if you like, industry in terms of adopting a freer way of thinking, and universities to perhaps get a bit more rigor into the research.
So it is a step change or a paradigm shift in how science is being done. Not only companies working together, but companies, academia working together in not just a fundee role, but a true collaboration.
39 partners work together in this 5-year project. These different skills and viewpoints create a new kind of synergy, helping the progress of new medicine.
Science doesn't just happen in a laboratory. It happens, it's an act of collective creativity of both patients, scientists, business people. It's really a societal activity, and in that regard, this project really embodies that.
And I think that's really impressive that Europe can involve so many centers, so many scientists, so many patients, so many associations in a project which aims at improving patient care.
U-BioPred is the project of the IMI that concentrates on severe asthma. U-BioPred stands for Unbiased Biomarkers for the Prediction of Respiratory Disease Outcomes. It means that the scientific approach is done unbiased, without preconceptions. It aims to collect as much data as possible and uses a computer model to make sense of it. This is called systems biology. Basically, this is the same method that meteorologists use to predict weather conditions.
So now we're at a historic moment where we can actually take this unbiased, wide-ranging data and create really the penultimate personalized medicine, where we can break down what we now traditionally have called asthma into various subgroupings. So in other words, aiming more towards the individual, and ideally allowing drug companies, when they're developing drugs, to then tailor the drugs so that drugs can be delivered faster to market.
The collected data comes from various techniques and origins and forms a so-called handprint of the disease.
We're calling it a handprint, so really multiple fingerprints of the disease into a patient profile. And having that profile, understanding what's going on in the lungs, understanding what's going on in the patient as a whole, we believe we are doing much better than focusing on one particular aspect of the disease, which in medical research was done until recently.
The project means a lot to patients suffering from severe asthma in Europe. It means hope. It means hope for their family, hope for all the healthcare providers, for their doctors. It's something extremely positive for the community globally and for these people.
It's also going to give us a much better understanding of what it's like to live with severe asthma, how that experience varies between different people, and also help us to manage and care for people with severe asthma more effectively.
And finally, at the end of the project, we will have the patients involved very much to disseminate the message, so to bring the message, the findings of the project towards the public and the patients in Europe. So there will be discussion groups, we have a website in which we will show our discoveries and the future developments after closing of this project.
The long-term impact of this is it's changing the culture of how science is done. And to me, that's what's really exciting.